Today in Music History. For April 21st. Presented by Classic Rock A to Z.
Come on and be my little good luck charm, you sweet delight.
On this day in 1962, Elvis Presley started a 2-week run at #1 on the US singles chart, with Good Luck Charm, his 5th US #1 of the 60s. Also a UK #1 hit.
It was 20 years ago today, Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. They've been going
In 1967, working at Abbey Road Studios in London, the Beatles completed the sessions for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The final recordings were a short section of Gibberish and Noise, which would follow, A Day in the Life in the Run-Out Groove. They recorded assorted noises and voices, which engineer Geoff Emerick then cut up and randomly reassembled and edited backwards. At John Lennon's suggestion, they also added a high-pitch, 15 kilocycle whistle, audible only by dogs. These were omitted from the American version of the album. 1969, Janis Joplin appeared at the Royal Albert Hall in London, her first London appearance. The opening act was Yes.
What tie yellow ribbon around the old tree? It's been 3 long years.
In 1973, Tony Orlando and Dawn started a 4-week run at #1 on the US singles chart, with Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree. It became the biggest seller of 1973, selling over 6 million copies. The song was based on a true story of a prisoner who wrote to his wife, asking her to tie a yellow ribbon around an oak tree in the town square, in White Oak, Georgia, if she still loved him. On this day in 1976, Women Against Violence Against Women called for a boycott of all Warner Communications albums because of the promotional campaign for the Rolling Stones' new album Black and Blue. The album was being promoted with a controversial advertising campaign that depicted model Anita Russell, bruised and bound, under the phrase, "I'm black and blue" from the Rolling Stones, and I love it.
Who knows where the time goes?
In 1978, UK folk singer Sandy Denny died at age 31. While on holiday with her parents in Cornwall, England, Denny was injured in a fall down a staircase. A month after the fall, she collapsed at a friend's home. 4 days later, she died in the hospital. Her death was ruled to be the result of a traumatic midbrain hemorrhage. She was a member of Fairport Convention and a solo artist. Her 1967 song, Who Knows Where the Time Goes, was covered by Judy Collins. Denny sang on the Led Zeppelin track, Battle of Evermore, on the band's 4th album, the only guest vocalist on a Led Zeppelin album. 1984, Phil Collins started a 3-week run at #1 in the US singles chart, with the theme from Against All Odds. It was Phil's first US #1 and #2 in the UK.
Say live and let die.
In 1990, Paul McCartney played in front of 184,000 fans at the Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, creating a new world record for the largest crowd attending a rock concert. On this day in 1990, Sinead O'Connor started a 4-week run at #1 on the US singles chart, with her version of the Prince song, Nothing Compares to You. The track was also a #1 hit in 18 other countries. The video was shot in Paris, and consists, almost solely, of a close-up on O'Connor's face as she sings the lyrics. Towards the end of the video, 2 tears roll down her face. The clip won Best Video at the 1990 MTV Video Music Awards, the first video by a female artist to win in this category.
That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion.
In 2001, R.E.M. guitarist Peter Buck was charged by police at Heathrow Airport with being drunk on an aircraft and assaulting British Airways crew. Buck was taken into custody after landing on a flight from Seattle, and questioned by police for 12 hours. 2002, Oasis went to #1 on the UK singles chart, with There in Due Times, the band's 6th UK #1, and the first single to be released from their 5th album, Heathen Chemistry. In 2008, American soul singer and songwriter Al Wilson died of kidney failure at the age of 68. Wilson had a number of US hits, including The Snake in 1968, and Show and Tell in 1974. 2014, Robin Thicke's controversial hit single, Blurred Lines, was named the UK's most downloaded song of all time. The song had sold 1.54 million copies since it was released in May 2013, despite criticisms of its explicit lyrics. About 20 university student unions banned the track, saying it promoted date rape culture, an accusation Thicke consistently denied. In 2015, AC/DC drummer Phil Rudd changed his plea to guilty on a charge of a threat to kill in a court in Tauranga, New Zealand. The court heard Rudd was unhappy about his album's launch party and asked for a former employee to be taken out. He had previously denied the charge. He also pleaded guilty to cannabis and methamphetamine possession. The court heard that he had fired a number of employees last August after the launch of his solo album, Head Job. 2016, Adele was named as Britain's richest ever female musician in the latest Sunday Times Rich list. A list of the top 50 music millionaires in the UK and Ireland placed the singer's £85 million fortune in 30th place, an increase of £35 million compared to last year.
Purple rain, purple rain.
And on this day in 2016, Prince was found dead at his home in Minnesota, at the age of 57, after police were summoned to his Paisley Park estate and found his body in a lift. The acclaimed and influential musician became a global superstar in the 1980s, with albums such as 1999, Purple Rain, and Sign of the Times. Prince recorded more than 30 albums throughout his career.
Visit classicrockatozoo.com for the latest music news and more.